Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Dark Vaults. Tonight, we are not investigating a murder. We are not investigating a disappearance. We are investigating something far more unsettling. A house. A house that has stood for more than 150 years. A house where one of the most famous authors in history created masterpieces that would outlive him. A house that witnessed immense happiness, unimaginable heartbreak, and decades of reports from people who swear they encountered something they could not explain. The strange thing is that nobody can point to a single moment when the haunting began. There was no brutal crime, no documented curse, no bloody history. And yet, for more than a century, visitors, employees, paranormal investigators, and skeptics alike have walked through its halls and left wondering the same question. Is someone still there? Before we begin, dim the lights, grab a warm drink, get comfortable, and join me as we open another file from the Dark Vault. Tonight, we step inside the Mark Twain house, Hartford, Connecticut. The year is 1874. The nation is healing from the Civil War. Industry is booming. And Samuel Langhorne Clemens, better known as Mark Twain, is building what he hopes will be the perfect family home. The mansion rises on Farmington Avenue. Designed by architect Edward Tuckerman Potter, it is unlike anything around it. Dark red brick, towering chimneys, steep roofs, hidden staircases, long corridors, massive wooden doors. Even today, many visitors describe it as looking more like a haunted castle than a writer's home. When construction was completed, Twain moved in with his wife Olivia, known as Livy, and their daughters Susie, Clara, and Jean. At first, the house was exactly what Twain dreamed it would be. A place filled with family, laughter, music, and creativity. These would become the most productive years of his life. Inside these walls, he wrote, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Prince and the Pauper, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, and several other works that would become literary classics. Night after night, Twain climbed to the third floor. There, inside his billiard room and study, he wrote long into the darkness, a cigar often burning beside him, the click of billiard balls echoing through the house, the scratching of a pen across paper, the occasional burst of laughter from guests downstairs. It was, by every account, a happy home. But houses remember, and some memories never fade. In 1891, financial difficulties forced the family to leave Hartford. The mansion fell quiet. The rooms that had once been alive with conversations sat empty. Dust gathered. The halls became silent. Then tragedy arrived. On the 18th of August 1896, Twain's eldest daughter, Susie Clemens, died inside the house from spinal meningitis. She was only 24 years old. The rest of the family was overseas, thousands of miles away. They never got the chance to say goodbye. When Twain learned of her death, those close to him said he was shattered. The mansion that once represented the happiest years of his life now carried a painful memory. The family never returned to live there, and many believe the atmosphere of the house changed forever. Years passed. The mansion survived while many historic homes disappeared. It became a school, later apartments, a library, office space, and for a time, it seemed the building itself might be lost forever. Yet somehow it survived. Eventually it was restored and opened as a museum, and that's when the stories began. At first they sounded ordinary. Footsteps, strange noises, unexplained sounds in old buildings. Nothing unusual. But then visitors began reporting things that were harder to dismiss. Employees working alone after closing hours described hearing footsteps on upper floors. The sound was unmistakable. Someone walking, slowly, methodically. Yet when they investigated, nobody was there. No visitors, no staff, only empty hallways. Others reported hearing voices, not loud voices, not conversations. Whispers, fragments, sounds that seemed to come from distant rooms. Several witnesses described hearing someone call out when the building was completely empty. Each time they searched, each time they found nothing. Then came the reports of cigar smoke. This is perhaps the most famous phenomenon associated with the house. Visitors suddenly catch the scent, fresh cigar smoke. Strong enough to notice immediately. Strong enough that many instinctively begin looking for the smoker. But nobody is smoking. The scent appears without warning, then disappears just as suddenly. The smell is most frequently reported near Twain's old billiard room, the very room where he spent countless nights writing and smoking cigars. Skeptics point out that smells can linger in old materials. Believers respond with a simple question. How does a smell appear and disappear in a room where nobody has smoked for generations? As the years passed, the sightings became stranger. Visitors began describing figures, not detailed figures, not clear enough to identify, but human shapes, silent, motionless, watching, then gone. Among the most frequently reported apparitions is a mysterious woman dressed in white. Witnesses describe seeing her standing briefly in hallways or near staircases. No one knows who she is. No historical record identifies her, yet reports continue. Another figure has become known as the Lady in Black. Again, no confirmed identity. Only stories, only sightings, only questions. Perhaps the most unsettling reports come from people who arrive as skeptics, people who do not believe in ghosts, people who expect absolutely nothing unusual. One account often discussed by museum staff involves a visitor named John. During his visit, he reportedly observed a man opening a window inside a restricted room. The sight seemed ordinary, until staff later explained that nobody had been inside that room. Nobody had access to it. The room had remained locked. John reportedly could not explain what he had seen. Neither could anyone else. Eventually, the house attracted professional paranormal investigators, most notably the Atlantic Paranormal Society, better known as TAPS, founded by Jason Hawes and Grant Wilson. The same investigators featured on Ghost Hunters. Their teams conducted multiple investigations inside the mansion. Recording equipment, motion sensors, night vision cameras, audio devices, hours of observation. The investigators documented unusual occurrences, though none provided definitive proof of a haunting. As always, interpretation depends on what you believe. But perhaps the strangest detail of all is Mark Twain himself, because Twain was fascinated by mysteries. He attended seances. He wrote about dreams that appeared to predict future events. He explored strange coincidences throughout his life. He openly admitted being intrigued by the unknown. If any historical figure would appreciate becoming part of a ghost story, it might be Mark Twain. Today, when the museum closes and the final visitors leave, silence returns to the mansion. The grand staircase stands empty. The nursery grows dark. The billiard room sits exactly where Twain left it. And somewhere inside that enormous Victorian house are memories stretching back more than a century. Memories of success. Memories of family. Memories of grief. Perhaps that is all people are sensing, the emotional weight of history. Or perhaps something else remains, something unseen, something impossible to prove, yet impossible to completely dismiss, because generation after generation continues to report the same strange experiences. The footsteps, the whispers, the shadows, the cigar smoke, and the feeling that someone may still be walking those halls long after everyone else has gone home. So what do you think? Is the Mark Twain house simply a historic mansion surrounded by legends and expectation? Or could one of America's greatest storytellers still be connected to the home he once called the loveliest home that ever was? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed tonight's investigation, subscribe to the Dark Vault, turn on notifications, and join us for more true mysteries, haunted locations, and unexplained stories from around the world. Until next time, when history refuses to stay buried, the Dark Vault remains open.